Hey there, second grade. This is going to be our first lesson in chapter 12. So we are on page 739. So go ahead and turn there with me as we get started on our geometry lesson for today. Now we are going to be talking about two-dimensional shapes as we are working on chapter 12, lesson 1 today. So go ahead and turn with me to the next page. We're going to get started today with our guided practice. Now, please make sure that you are just patient with me as I'm working on my Chromebook. I know you've got your math book with you, but I'm going to be writing some things, so be patient as I figure that out. But we're going to start off reading. It says, a two-dimensional shape is a shape with only length and width. All right, length and width. Now, what that means is it only can be measured by the long and the wide different parts of it. And so we're going to take a look at some things like that. So what that means is it's two-dimensional. It is flat. There's no height with it. And we'll talk more about those words as we keep going through this chapter. But some examples of two-dimensional shapes. We've got a circle. We have triangle. We have squares and rectangles. Those are ones you probably are pretty familiar with. But then down here, we've got some new shapes that maybe you haven't heard of before. We have a pentagon, and one of the things that we know a pentagon is it has 5 sides to it, all right? 5 sides. We have a hexagon, which has 6 sides to it. And then we have a parallelogram. Now, parallelograms have 2 sides that are parallel to each other, so they're never going to cross each other. But a parallelogram has 2 sides that are parallel. And then a trapezoid has 4 sides, but if you notice, some of the sides start to come in. So this isn't like a rectangle or a square or even a parallelogram. A trapezoid is different because it has 2 sides that are maybe the same length, but the others are all different. So that's what we're looking at for trapezoids. Well, let's go ahead and go down to number 1. Now, as we work on these problems today, we're going to be going back up here to this top part because this is going to help us out. So number 1 says, circle the shapes that match the name. So we have parallelogram. Well, we already talked about parallelogram has 4 different sides, and we've got parallel sides. So when I take a look at my first one right here, this is a hexagon because it's got 6. That is not a parallelogram. My next one right here, it looks just the same as the one up there. That is a parallelogram. It's got two sides that are parallel and 2 sides that are parallel. So this is a parallelogram. Next up, we've got a circle. That is not a parallelogram, so I'm going to cross that one off. And then my last one here, it looks a little different. It looks more like a diamond, but I can see that it has 4 sides, and the different sides are parallel to each other, so I'm going to circle that. So for number 1, we circled 2 of them because they have the same, these are called properties, the same properties as a parallelogram. Well, let's take a look at number 2. For number 2, we want to find triangle. Now, triangle means it's a shape with 3 sides. So when I take a look, my first one right here, oh yeah, that lines up. It's got 3 sides. It looks exactly like the triangle up at the top. They are the same. My next one here has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, so no, that is not a triangle. My next one here, well, this looks different. It's got 2 long sides and 1 short side. It doesn't look like this one. However, triangle properties says that it has 3 sides. So let's see, does it have 3 sides? 1, 2, and 3. Yes, it does. So even though it looks a little different, this is still a triangle. And then my last one, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. Well, that's a pentagon. So this is not a triangle. So we had 2 different ones that we know are triangles. Let's go down here to number 3. I'm going to have you just pause for a second, and I want you to try to figure out number 3. So you're going to write the name of the shape. So we're going to write it right here, and then circle the shape that matches it over here. Now, this is a little tricky. They're trying to trick you on it. I'm going to tell you that. But I want you to go ahead. I'm going to give you just a second to go ahead and answer number 3, and then check your work with me in just a minute. So I'm going to give you 1 minute. If you haven't finished by the time that's over, then you can pause your video. But I'm going to give you just a few more seconds to work on this problem. All right, let's check number 3 together. So number 3, and again, if you haven't finished, just pause the video and finish up, and then you can follow along with me. Let's count the number of sides. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So I'm looking for a shape up here that has 6 sides. Well, this is a circle, no. Triangle has 3. A square has 1, 2, 3, 4. A rectangle is 1, 2, 3, 4. We're looking for 6. All right, Pentagon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's close, but not yet. A hexagon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, so hexagon might be the one that we're looking for. Parallelogram 4, trapezoid 4. So we are looking for hexagon. So down here, I'm going to write in, excuse me, I'm going to write in hexagon. Hexagon. Forgive my bad handwriting. I'm writing on a Chromebook. All right. Now we're going to take a look over here and say, all right, which one of these has the same number of sides? And they're trying to trick us here. Well, I know right away, this has 4 sides, so that's not it. This has 4 sides, that's not it. So we've got this orange shape and this purple shape. And they tried to trick us because this is purple. And so they want us to come over here and go, oh, this is purple too. But how many sides does this one have? It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. That is not what we want. They were trying to trick you. So if you circled that one, make sure we're counting the number of sides. That's our properties of what a hexagon is. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is our hexagon. All right. All right. And this is just a quick good thing for us to talk about. What is the difference between a pentagon and a hexagon? And how are they alike? Well, a pentagon has 5 sides and a hexagon has 6 sides. They're alike because they look very similar. They have a lot of different points and a lot of different sides to them. So that makes me think that they're very similar, but a hexagon has 1 extra side. That's what's different about it. All right, we're going to go on to page 741. On page 741, in just a second, I'm going to ask you to pause your video so you can do your math work. But we're going to do numbers 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I know it's a lot, but it's the same thing that we were just doing. We're going to be looking and circling the shapes that match the word. Down here, we're going to write what this shape is and then find it over here. And then down here, we're going to circle the shape that does not, oh, I don't have my pen, I'm sorry, does not belong in each group. So which one does not fit? All right. Then I want you to go on to page 742. And I just want you to look at problems number 12 and number 13. All right. So you got to count those up. And you got to identify these different ones. So you're doing all of your independent problems up to 12 and 13. So all of this page and then 12 and 13. Go ahead, pause your video now, and go ahead and practice those problems on your own. Pause your video now. Well, I hope that you have paused your video so that you can do problems 4 through 13 on your own. If you haven't, again, pause it now so you can do that, and then check your work. I always like to tell my students, it's okay if you make a mistake, all right? I don't expect you to be perfect, just make corrections. So as we go through our problems today, just make corrections if there's anything that you got wrong. All right. Well, for our first one right here, we're looking for trapezoids. Well, remember, a trapezoid is a 4-sided shape. And it does not have all parallel sides. So when I take a look, it's this first one right here has got 1, 2, 3, 4, and these two are not parallel. So this is, in fact, a trapezoid. Sorry, I've been talking a lot, so my voice is getting a little tired. All right, so we've got 1 trapezoid. My next one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is not a trapezoid. My next one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is not a trapezoid. My next one has 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've got 2 sides that are not parallel. So this is a trapezoid as well. My next one, I'm looking for a hexagon. And for these different ones, if you're unsure, I'd encourage you to go back to page 740 and look at the top to find the different shapes. That's where you're going to look for them. I'm not going to jump back and forth because my pen actually goes away every time I do that. It just gets kind of tricky. So I'm just going to keep going through. A hexagon has 6 sides. So I'm looking for 6 sides. So my first one here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that is. My next one is not. That's a circle. My next one after that, nope, that's a parallelogram. And then my next one is a trapezoid. So we only had 1 circled for number 5. For number 6, I'm looking for a triangle. Triangle has 3 sides. This first one is a trapezoid, so that's not going to work. My next one is a triangle, so I'm going to circle that because it has 1, 2, 3 sides. After that, I've got another triangle because it's got 1, 2, 3 sides. And then my last one is a parallelogram. That's not what I want. Ooh, I might need to stop and get a drink. Try to push through. Number 7 is a pentagon. I'm looking for a pentagon. Well, pentagon has 5 sides. 5 sides. So when I take a look, my first shape here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 sides. So that is a pentagon. The next one only has 1, 2, 3. That's a triangle. I don't want that. Again, pentagon, 5 sides. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. No, that is a hexagon. It's not what we want. My last shape here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, that works. That's a pentagon. So I can circle that one. So we've got 2 circled there. They are both pentagons. The next part says to write the name of the shape and circle the shape that matches. So here I've got a shape that has 1, 2, and 3 sides. This is a triangle. Triangle. All right, that's my triangle. All right, and I'm looking for the shape that matches it. Well, this is not. That's a circle. My next one's a rectangle. My next one has 3 sides, so I'm going to circle it. And the last one, that's another rectangle. I don't want that. So we only circled 1 for that. Look at number 9. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sides. If it's 6 sides, this is a hexagon. Hexagon. All right, so when I look, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yes! That one is it. I've got a hexagon right there. Circle that. So we are good to go. For number 10 and 11, they mixed it up. We want to circle the shape that does not belong in the group. Well, this one has 4 sides, 3 sides, and 4 sides. Which one does not fit? The one with 3 sides. So I'm going to circle my triangle. All right, because again, it says circle the shape that does not belong in the group. Number 11, let's take a look at the sides. We've got 3 sides, 3 sides, 3 sides, and then this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 sides. Which one does not belong? The 6-sided one. These are all triangles. We don't need that one right there. Let's go on to the next page, page 742, and we'll take a look at problems 12 and 13.